And my report is on 490. So maybe there's something that I posted in the meantime. But basically, to answer your question, your control accounts, which is your creditors control, which is 5,000. Your VAT, sometimes people use as a control. I use this VAT, this one as a control account. Okay, that's just to control with what was submitted to SARS. Then I use data control account. I use all these banks as like a control account, so the bank statement and business balance. And then stock 3500, that's the control account. That's only for that we use as a control account, but you can set up if you want to other control accounts. But basically we got a support utility that if somebody posts something different that doesn't match up. So to answer that is I got trace numbers. Let me just quickly go to debtors. Okay, there's one of them. Yeah, I'll show you. So it's another thing that we stole out of SAP, that 360 view. So if I go in here quickly. I go to let's say Pinnacle. You know, if you right click, instead of going into the function menus, you got a lot of menus here. So I go to transaction statement. I just hit enter. I'll give you all the transactions for the month. So if I go stand on any of these, I can then view the view GL posting, and I can have access to the GL from here. So I've got the GL trace number that posted to the ledger in the sub ledger already. So what we do is we run a report to say, give me the trace numbers. And so I put 3 columns. I put in the left the GL trace number, then I give me the total on the sub ledger and give me the total on the control. And if there's any difference, then I'll pick up if there's a trace number that happened into a control account. Because it's so easy for somebody switches off a control account, do a posting and switch on the control account, like we had with the Kitchenik lady. She would then come in here, disable the control account, and then post. So here's all our banks as control accounts. So she would go in, take that control off, do a journal, and then put the control back in. And then the system allowed her to post, and then the two are out of sync with each other. And then we do with the trace number, we'll pick up if there's any differences and why. Then you can go into that trace number and reverse it on the GL. Find the guilty person and fix it up. Does that answer?
Yeah, at least it's helping. But my question is, knowing the risk associated in switching on and off the control account, do we have a scenario where there is more like a message which indicate that you are now about to switch off a control account with a transaction? This is going to be the implication. Or maybe we say it's only an administrator who can do that. Does anyone able to just switch on and off? And as an accountant, how am I going to keep track that at this moment someone did switch on or off the control account?
I'm not sure if our rights on the GL is so. Our customer base that uses GL, the people that's aware of GL, is quite such a high level that they're not even a risk for us. But you're 100% right. We're starting to touch customers, which could be a risk. I'm just going to go there and see security access and parameters. CGL. So this is something that we can put more focus on. Yeah, so we do have. So master files, so I can switch off and enable update. So I can take updating of accounts off from all people. Okay, so we do have rights. I see now it's actually out to all these. I'm a special user, so I can go around for them. So we can have yes, no, and take it off or allow them to add or delete accounts and so on. So all the rights is here.
Yeah.
So you'll have only yourself to be able to do that and then create, or if you've got an accountant, like Ishmael or whatever, that does it for certain customers, they got rights to do it. You can block access to it and creating or deleting or any of that.
But does the system have something like a prog log, which keeps tracks to those master file changes? Because why I'm too keen to inquire on that is there are some scenarios where the user temper around with the system, then later comes back to blame the system. So
100%. I'm 100% aware of that, and I don't think we do have. We probably have to bring something in place for that. I don't think we have like an audit trail on this. There's no audit trail here. It's something that Kinloch can put on the list first.
Just on
yeah, I think it's
sorry, Callisto. Just on like general master file changes, not just on the specific on the ledger, for instance, or whatever, but generally on the program itself.
So anything you want to change in the master files?
Yeah, well, any master file changes that have taken place, is there a log that we can
do have a log for that in
Okay.
stock master and in debtors master, but in GL it'll be something particular, changing what in GL.
Okay.
anything?
let's take for example, I switch on and off the control account, or I change the account type or something that will end up affecting our synchronization of our sub ledgers in my control accounts. At least if you have a prog log which indicate that on this particular date, this is what you did that is against our standards.
No, we got that basically on 90, maybe 80% of the screens, but we don't
Yes.
have it on the GL side. So we need
Not
to
on
add it
the-
up, yeah.
Not on the GL and not on the GL master and not on the account master as well. But on stock it's there, on debtors it's there, on most of our big master files, guys, it is there.
Yeah, like I showed earlier on, we got it
Yeah.
on here. So if I change and make a change here, it's audited. And any of these posting, I can see who did it and who did what. So I think if I go right, I can see it was done this date, this time, that user. And I'm also supposed to be able to see the machine. I don't think they show the machine. Then if I go into any of these lines, how do I do it early on, view posting? Okay, double click it. That's a problem one. It doesn't allow, both of these are control accounts, so it won't allow me to go do anything. So let me find a non-control account. Yeah, this is a non-control account. So now it allows me to be able to do, and then everything is audited here. If any transaction happened on this trace number. So that type of scenario. So we basically add audit trails to incidents. We had an incident this morning with a customer where staff was doing a warehouse transfer. They were printing a warehouse transfer, get security to chop it, then go back to the system and delete it before they authorize it. So now we're changing the system not to allow the deletion of warehouse transfers, but actually just doing an audit trail to say this person deleted it, and then we hide it, but you can still view it with a filter. As we pick up problems, we put audit trails or loopholes around it.
I think I'm answered.
Okay, cool.
And
Anyone else?
another question on the bank.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, I'm in a multi-currency setup.
Yeah.
Is there a distinguisher to say this one is a US dollar, this one is a South
No.
African rand?
No, currently we only do South African rand. We don't do multi-currencies.
You said you don't do.
So we don't handle multi-currency at the moment. We only do rand.
Yeah, I think it's something that maybe Kinloch can add as well, because multi-currency is something that you know, where we are going, most users would want to have that. Like,
Wow.
I'll have,
It's not a problem. We had a lot of discussions around it already, and we got ideas how to handle it on, but we don't have any can I say, paying customer, and we don't want to develop stuff and have so spend time now, develop it, leave it, and 2 years later we never touched it, and now it's out of date and we never worked on it. So if we don't have a paying or using customer, we tend not to do development work for that.
So, Callisto, just to intrude you there, we can do spot rates on GRVs, okay? As you bring them in from suppliers. And remember, a lot of the sales going out of South Africa is still in Rand. So we haven't done the multi-currency because multi-currency you'll need when you do, as you know, both currencies. But if you sell out of South Africa, a lot of the times you're selling in ZAR because you're selling to an agent and when you bring it in as well. So in regards to that, we can develop it. It is there. But as you know, there's a few different ways of doing that with the spot rate, Rand, dollar, etc. as well. And me and you know that other programs in pink didn't do it that well. There was always variances on the GL, etc. You remember?
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm asking to see if Genesis have that. How are we working around to avoid these?
We don't have a scope yet, so we don't have customer scope for that yet.
Okay, noted.
We'll get your customer
if
scope.
you know everybody and you want to bring them on, and you and Ashley, you guys are welcome, then we can speak to Dev and we can get that sorted.
Noted.
Okay, we done?
So Ashley and the rest of the guys, don't want to go over bringing in chart of accounts, etc., doing the control links to the chart of accounts, those type of stuff. You don't want to go over that. Is that something we'll do at a go live type of basis?
Callisto, what do you think? Was this covered already before Callisto joined?
So just as a simple example, right? Our GL accounts, you'll bring it in via CSV the same way towards the link and sub accounts that you'll do with the product master and debtors. So you will define your custom GL code. You'll bring it into the GL master and you'll link your sub accounts towards those accounts. Am I correct in saying that?
So sub accounts, we don't do sub accounts in that sense. We had, but it become. We wanted to do it for border suites because of manufacturing and so on, and they wanted to control. And eventually, we found out that this guy wants to run his whole entire business out of his management report, and that's not really the place to do it. So most of the people that I deal with wants to do accounting structures at this branch, this department, this what. There's different ways of doing it, and doing it on your income statement and your is actually a wrong place to try and run your business. There's reports and stuff for that. It's better value. So once we sit down and we discuss and see what you want to achieve and where you want to go, then it starts making sense, not to try and overcomplicate, because it just makes us such a nightmare of mistakes. So yes, branches we post separately. So on your income statement, you can see the different branches. But to have sub-accounts into account is basically having your category and having your GL accounts inside the category. Then having an account and having a sub-account. So if it depends on how you drive it and how you control it, you don't have to have sub-accounts. So we do cater for sub-accounts, but I would steer away from that. Because take, for example, you got adjustment reasons, for instance. So I always say to people that stationery is one of those grudge things. So you go to Macro and you buy milk and bread and whatever, not bread, but milk and stuff, and you buy your paper and you buy toners and so on. Now you come back to the office, now you got 10 boxes of paper. Now if you just put it down there in the corner, you guess what? You're paying for every employee's child school task that they got to do, you're paying the paper for. So if you lock the paper where you lock your stock away, and people want a ream of paper or a box of paper, they will come and then you issue the paper to stationery, then it's a lot more controlled. But now if you start getting sub-accounts and it's for this department and it's this person, whatever, now you start running your business out of your income statement, it becomes a little bit sloppy and messy. And that's the only reason why people didn't go sub-account to go department level and so on. But we do have cost centers and so on. but no customers using it at the moment. Here we go there. Put it into a GL account. So except if there's a reason, or people can tell me why. So let me just open up. So we've got the sub accounts here and sub name, but I think we're not really using it anymore. You can see the button is away. I think you have to enable it. So if you go to settings to enable sub accounts, then it'll bring the button back. Let me just see if I do a journal. So I got GL, I don't know a sub account here. I'm not sure if it's hidden away, and then I got cost centers. So what happened there? So I can set up a cost center as well, but also not aware of somebody using cost centers. So it depends on the customer. You can have a look at if it's that complex, if it's how we set it up and do we allow it. At the moment, I don't have that switch on at the moment. Yeah.
Rian, I'm not sure if you covered this before I joined, but can you also import a CSV into your cash book? So bank import definitions.
Yes, so we basically got this here.
Okay.
So this is a typical. So to set it up, basically, yeah, statement rules. Okay, so bank statement. I don't know which one the two. One is keywords to auto learn. The other one is the setup. I'm not sure if it's here. It's not here. It's somewhere. This is keywords. So the system will pick up a keyword and then know what to do with it. Then this setup will be here. I'll find it now. It's either here or it's in the comments. I'm not sure if it's here. Yeah. Okay, so we got FNB. So we got two types of statements that we got set up. So the one would say, this is the one column, second column. Just give me 1 second. I've got a guy that needs to see me at 4 o'clock and he keeps on phoning in. Give me 1 sec. I'll come back. Okay, so basically you can set up the columns. So this is the headings on the, I don't know if it's our fields or this is the top of the, this is what we want to show, one of the two. Yeah, this is the other layout. So the one doesn't have balance at the end, one does have balance, and the other one's got the other way around. This one's got balance at the end. So we're currently using statement 2 for the FNB's email. So here you can just set up new ones for import. Does that make sense? Am I there?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you've seen the FNB